Hey guys, it's Mr. Kruger here talking about trail marker number 3. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to work through each problem. There's 13 of them. So take a look. Here we go, polynomials. You'll notice that it's addition because there's an addition symbol between the two polynomials. So I'm going to start from highest degree down to lowest and find my like terms. 2x squared minus 5x squared is negative 3x squared. Then I'm going to go to my x's. Well, I only see negative 3x, so it's just negative 3x. And then my constants, negative 1 plus 4, that's going to give me a positive 3. And there we go. Question number 2. Now we're performing this operation, but what you'll notice is that it's subtraction. So what I like to do is distribute this negative sign and rewrite my terms. I'm going to do this over here to the right so I can get some more space. So I'm going to rewrite the first polynomial, 9x squared plus 2, and then distribute that negative. A positive 3x is now a negative 3x. A negative 5x squared is now a positive 5x squared. And a positive 8 is now a negative 8. Now I'm just going to go through and find my like terms. Start with the highest degree, x squared. Negative 9x squared plus 5x squared is negative 4x squared. Go to my x's, negative 3x, that's about it. And then my constants, positive 2, negative 8 gives me a negative 6. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Here we go. Question 3. Perform the operation, write your answer in standard form. So I don't see any addition or subtraction between the two terms, so I'm going to have to use my distributive property. First term times the first term. Negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. I have two x's and x. That gives me 3x, which is x cubed. So I get negative 6x cubed. I'm going to distribute the first to the last there. Negative 2 times negative 7 is going to be a positive 14x squared. And then I'm going to distribute my x to my 3x, which is a positive 3x squared. And an x to my negative 7, which is negative 7x. Now I'm just going to combine like terms. I don't have any more cubes, so it's negative 6x cubed. Combine my like terms here. 14x squared plus 3x is going to give me 17x squared. And then my last term is just an x minus 7x. Okay, step 4. Y equals mx plus b. That's what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to do my work to the right here. And if you'll see, I got negative 4x. I need to move that 4x to the other side, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides, add 4x to both sides. So I have 2y equals positive 4x plus 8. Divide by 2 to both sides, so I can get y by itself. Y equals, well, 4 over 2 is 2, and 8 over 2 is 4. So I get 2x plus 4. So let me zoom in here. Okay, my equation was y equals 2x plus 4. So we'll start with my y-intercept, which is positive 4. Plot that right here. And I'm going to follow a slope of positive 2. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1 is going to be a little ugly, but let's see how this works. Yeah, that's ugly. It's okay. There's our line connecting between these points. Question number 3, solve for x. I need to move my variables to one side and my constants to the other. So I'm going to move my 6x to the right side first by adding 6x to both sides. So I'm left with 3 equals 11x minus 19, and put my constants to the other, so add 19, add 19. So now I'm left with 22 equals 11x, divide by 11, x equals 2. Question number 6, simplify the expression as completely as possible. Remember, whenever we have a negative exponent, we need to put it in the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 4 to the positive 3 over 2. And now, remember what we think about this is 1 over, I need to figure out, is the numerator outside of the radical or underneath the radical? So what we need to notice is that the denominator here, the 1 over 2, is actually the square root of this number, and then that numerator, the 3, is outside the radical. So now we can just simplify. Okay, the square root of 4 is 2, and now cube 2, and I get 1 over 8. Okay, let's go to number 7. Find x if f of x equals negative 11 and f of x equals this. Well, they both equal f of x, so let's just substitute in for each other. So I'm going to set negative 11 equal to negative 4x plus 1 because I'm just going to substitute it in for f of x. Now I just need to solve for x. Subtract 1 from both sides, so I get negative 12 equals negative 4x. And solve for x, so I'm going to divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. And if I divide by negative 4, I get x equals negative 3. And remember, that's what I'm looking for. Ooh, positive 3, because it's a negative divided by a negative, so x equals positive 3. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, over here, last question, number 8. Evaluate f of x when I give this function at f of negative 2. Well, if you notice, this is my x value here. I'm plugging negative 2 in for x. So if I want to find f of negative 2, I'm going to plug in negative 2 for wherever I see an x. Let me see it once. Now I just need to simplify. I have to square first by order of operations, so negative 2 times itself is a positive 4. And then I'm just going to simplify. 3 times 4, multiplication first, is 12. And then add those combined like terms, I get 17. So when I plug in negative 7 as an input, I get 17 as an output. And I have about 5 questions on the second sheet. So now we're working on questions 9 through 13. If you look at this first one, we have solved the system. I need to figure out elimination or substitution. Well, because I've already have y solved for, I'm going to substitute in for y. So here we go. We got negative 3x minus 3 in parentheses, whatever I'm substituting in, which is 5x minus 17, equals positive 3. Now I'm going to solve, simplify my distribute my negative 3. So I'm left with negative 3x. A negative 3 times a negative 5 is a positive 15x. Negative 3 times a negative 17, well, 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 7 is 21. Add those up, we get a positive 51. Let's combine like terms. Negative 3x plus 15x is 12x, and then plus 51. Let's subtract 51 from both sides. So I get 12x equals negative 48. And then if I divide by 12, I get x equals negative 4. Let me get a little more space over here. So I'm going to take that x value. I'm going to use the bottom equation, y equals negative 5. And I'm going to plug in negative 4 for x. Minus 17. Remember, it doesn't matter which equation you use. I use the bottom one because I have y equals by itself. So I just need to simplify. Multiply those two numbers together, I get a positive 20 minus 17. So y equals 3. And I always want my solution to be in a coordinate point. So that's going to give me negative 4 comma 3. Okay. So let's take a look at question number 10. Now if you look, the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, and the constants are lined up. So I can actually eliminate right now. Adding down negative 4x plus 4x eliminates the x's. Negative 2y plus 8y gives me 6y. And then negative 12 minus 24 gives me a negative 36. Divide both sides by 6, and I get y equals negative 6. But I still need my x value. So I'm going to pick the bottom equation. Doesn't matter which one you want to use. So here's my bottom equation, 4x plus 8, and I already have my y value, so negative 6 equals negative 24. Now I just need to solve for x. 8 times negative 6 is negative 48 equals negative 24. And now let's just add 48 to both sides. Well, a negative 24 plus 48 is going to be a positive 24. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals 6. And my coordinate has to be x comma y, so it's going to be x is the 6 is the y x value, and negative 6 is the y value. Okay, solve the quadratic equation. Okay, if you want to take out your solve in foldable, you can do that. And if you look right here, we have a trinomial with a lead coefficient of 1. So I'm going to use factoring. What two numbers multiply to 10, which is the c value, and add to negative 7, which is the b value. If you want to see that, here's c, here's b. So the two numbers that do that are negative 5 and negative 2. So I'm going to factor x minus 5, x minus 2 equals 0. And now, using the zero product property, I need to set them both equal to 0 to solve for x. X minus 5 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. Add 5, I get x equals 5. Add 2, I get x equals 2. Those are my two solutions. Solve this quadratic equation. Well, if you notice, there's only one thing that's being squared. Okay, so what that means is I can use my square root property. I need to isolate what's being squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 2 first, so I can isolate the x plus 1 quantity squared. Divide by 2, and I'm left with x plus 1 quantity squared equals 25. And now what I can do is I can actually square root both sides because I have isolated what's being squared. Then I'm going to set up my two little equations here, because remember, whenever I take a square root, I get two numbers, positive and negative. And because 25 is a perfect square, I get the positive 5 and the negative 5. So I'm going to set x plus 1 equal to 5, and I'm going to set x plus 1 equal to negative 5. And then solve. Subtract 1 from both sides, I get x equals 4. And subtract 1 from both sides, I get x equals negative 6. Last one, write the equation of the line passes through these 2 points. Remember, an equation of a line, I need a slope and a y-intercept. So let's start with the slope. m equals the change in y over change in x. So y2 minus y1, 2 minus 1, over x2 minus x1, 6 minus 9. Now I can simplify. Positive 1 over negative 3, that's my slope, negative 1/3. Now I need to take that with one of my points and plug it into the formula y equals mx plus b. So here's my formula, because I need to solve for b. I have a slope, negative 1/3, and I have 2 points. Let's pick one. Let's pick the first one, 9, 1. Well, 1 is the y value, so that's going in for y. M is my negative 1/3. And 9 for that same point is my x value. So let's solve for b. 1 equals, well, 1/3 of 9 is 3, and it's a negative times a positive, so it's got to be a negative 3. And now I just have to add 3 to both sides. So I get b equals 4. There's my y-intercept. So the last thing I got to do, take my slope, my y-intercept, and here's my equation. Y equals the negative 1/3, which is the slope, and then plus that y-intercept, which is 4. And there you go. Good luck, guys.